And the U.S. is expected to announce new sanctions on Russia Friday over the death of Alexey Navalny. This comes as the mother of the Russian opposition leader demands that Vladimir Putin turn over her son's body. She made this emotional video posted to Navalny's YouTube channel demanding that. Russian authorities reported the death of Putin's most prominent domestic foe on Friday. They have said that they will examine the body for at least 2 weeks, 14 days. Navalny was imprisoned on extremism charges in 2021 after surviving at least 2 suspected poisonings. President Biden says he believes Putin is responsible for his death. CBS News contributor Samantha Vinograd is in Washington. She formerly served as the Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism and Threat Prevention for the Department of Homeland Security. She also worked on U.S. policy on Russia under Presidents Obama and Biden. It's great to have you to discuss this very alarming story and something that the world is seeing perhaps not so much as a victory for Vladimir Putin, but perhaps something different, an awakening of the opposition. Talk to us about what the death of Alexey Navalny represents for Vladimir Putin.
Well, overall, 2024 may be shaping up to be Vladimir Putin's best year yet. Domestically, his primary opposition individual, his primary opponent, is now dead. And I think we have to stop referring to the death of Alexey Navalny and instead refer to the murder of Alexey Navalny. Vladimir Putin is poised to sail to victory in another sham election in Russia in mid-March. He is consolidating power domestically. His opposition has been silenced. And on the world stage, his biggest competitor, the United States, from his perspective, is likely looking incredibly weakened as a presidential election in this country gets closer, as a special counsel reports about President Trump and President Biden are now public. The U.S. looks internally quite in chaos. And further, Vladimir Putin, on a geopolitical level, is also poised to sail to victory in various parts of Ukraine. So overall, Vladimir Putin is probably riding high based on domestic conditions as well as what's happening on the geopolitical stage.
You know, it was so difficult to see how this ended up, how Alexey Navalny ends up dead after so much surviving, after the attacks, after disappearing, and then reemerging in this colony so remote. It does seem like Putin is doing whatever he wants, no concern about consequences from the West. So what are the sanctions enough, the ones announced for later this week? Is there anything else that the Biden administration can do to punish Putin or Russia?
Well, Vladimir Putin has good reason to feel omnipotent and untouchable at this point. U.S. sanctions against Russia will be largely symbolic. Their impact is likely to be quite minimal. The United States will likely announce more travel bans and asset freezes against individuals associated with Alexey Navalny's death, perhaps individuals from the penal colony where he was imprisoned. But those individuals don't have a lot of money in U.S. bank accounts and probably were not planning vacations to the United States. So those sanctions are unlikely to have an effect. At the same time, we should keep an eye on what our European allies may do. The EU is poised to announce new sanctions against Russia for their invasion of Ukraine. And we could see the European Union as well seek to sanction financial institutions doing business with individuals in Russia that are associated with the invasion in Ukraine or Navalny's death. So I'm more focused on what our European partners may do because of their closer relationships, financial relationships with individuals in Russia. But I don't think that any of this will materially deter Putin from continuing his actions in Ukraine and continuing to use targeted assassinations, chemical warfare against individuals he views as a threat to his own hold on power. The regime in Russia has used chemical weapons, primarily a substance called Novichok, quite frequently at this time, and has not backed away from relying on it as a weapon of choice, likely because Putin does not think that the West is able to do anything to really harm his hold on power.
Not to mention the arrests of journalists and activists and anybody supporting the opposition. Samantha Vinograd, thank you so much.